Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the Quantum Coaching Certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. Hello, badass manifestors. Welcome back to another episode on the Badass Manifestor podcast. I am recording this on Sunday evening right now, which is Mother's Day here in the United States. So I just wanted to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. Sending big love to all of you mamas out there who are strong, resilient, powerful beings of light, raising amazing babies in the world, and all the mamas in the making. I remember I was a mama in the making for so long, and I remember that feeling so well. So I'm sending you so much love, and I promise you, your time is coming. Sending you all so much love. So today's episode is a really fun one because I am re-airing an episode that aired on one of my best friend's podcasts. You probably know her. You probably love her. Her name is Kathrin Zenkina, Manifestation Babe. We did an episode back in November, and it was such a good conversation. I wanted to share it with my community as well. So I can't wait for you to listen to this conversation. We talk all about how to become the coach that everyone wants to hire. And I really share some great tips for your coaching, to elevate your coaching, to elevate your life, and to really step into becoming world-class in your craft, which you know I am so passionate about. And the applications for the Quantum Coaching Academy are still open. So if you've been thinking about putting your application in, you're ready to just explore the option of what it would be like to join the Quantum Coaching Academy. The link will be in the show notes for you to apply. And what happens is you apply, you book an application call, and you get on with our team members, and they will support you in making the best possible decision for yourself. So I'm so grateful. I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to listen to this episode. All right, let's do this.
All right. I got on the podcast the beautiful Ashley freaking Gordon. How the hell are you, babe?
I'm so good. I'm so excited, and I love you, and I can't wait to just jam out.
Just a little fun fact. I literally haven't had a guest on my podcast since, I don't know, the last time I did a recording. And I just had to ask Ashley how to record on Zoom. This is so embarrassing. I'm like, which recording button do I normally push? Because before it was just recording, and now it's asking me, do I put on the cloud? Do I put on the computer? So thank you for being my IT tech support today. I really appreciate you for that.
Always.
So Ashley, I first want to dive into, we were just texting, obviously, before we started the podcast recording, because we are really freaking good friends and we talk almost every single day, and we're both moms and we both have beautiful baby boys who were born 4 months apart. So we have a lot to talk about. And you were sharing super quick, like the story of how we met. And I think it's the best story ever. Can you just share, like, how do we come into each other's orbit?
100%. I'm so excited to share this story. So wild. When I first got into the coaching arena, I really had no idea where to start. Everything I did was in person, and I was obsessed with manifestation, obsessed with helping people really change their mindset, their energy, all the things. So I was leading a vision board workshop, and I was leading it at my yoga studio, and these two guys were there, and they were like, "You would love this girl, Manifestation Babe. Do you follow her?" And I'm like, "No, who is this?" And they show me your profile, and they're like, "She's a manifestation coach." And I'm like, wait a second. Somebody else is teaching manifestation the way that I'm teaching manifestation. Like like they're leading workshops about it, and they're doing whatever. And I couldn't believe it because I had never like thought about the online space, never thought about
Wait, how did you get into
putting,
manifestation in the first place? I just want to interrupt real quick and add a little bit of
yeah,
context because it's not like something you just come out of the womb and like, I'm going to teach manifestation. Like everyone has their origin story. So how did that originate?
yeah. It happened when I was 18. My mom asked me for a book for Christmas. She's like, I want this book called The Secret. And I was like in a horrible relationship at the time. And I was just so depressed in that moment in time. And I was like, oh, I got to go to the mall. I got to get my mom this book. And I gave her the book. And then she was like, oh, I actually have the movie. Let's watch it. And she showed me the movie, The Secret. And literally, as soon as I watched it, everything just clicked. And I was like, I understand life now. I understand I understand why I'm here. I understand this relationship whole shit show that I'm in. And it just started clicking. And after that, it was like I couldn't get enough. I went to, research all the books. I read Conversations with God. That was like my first big awakening in that book. And then it just kind of went from there. So that's my origin story.
Okay, so now you're teaching a vision board workshop in your hometown?
Yeah, in my
How
hometown.
big is this class size?
There's about probably 20 people in this class.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
And these two guys show you my profile, and then what's
Yeah.
next?
And you had about 10,000 followers at the time. So I'm
That's
like, all
so
right, I'll
wild.
follow this chick. So I follow you. And I'm obviously loving everything that you're showing up with, you're teaching, you're sharing. And at the time, you were launching a digital course class, like a digital course program of how teaching people how to create digital courses. And you messaged me because we had interacted and you messaged me and you're like, hey, you ever think about having a digital program? I just checked out your website and you don't have one. And it's a big business expander. Talk about not like selling in the DMs. You sold me in the DMs.
It's so funny because you wouldn't catch me dead doing that nowadays. But back then, I
You
mean,
were
I was
hustling.
so certain of like the programs that I had, and not to say I'm not certain now. I just have a larger audience. Like I just work differently now, but back then I would just straight up go. I remember going on people's websites and trying to help them and trying to
Yeah.
coach them and like give them business advice.
You were genuinely trying to help me. And it was so awakening to me because one, never in a million years thought about doing that. It never crossed my mind at all, was not in my awareness. And I kind of just put it out there to the universe. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but if it's for me, I'll like get the sign. Literally the next day, I get a discovery call from someone who is in India. Okay. I was only working with people in person. I was only doing local coaching. I had a local community.
No way.
Yeah, it was all local in my local community. I get this discovery call. I'm like, what? I was freaking out. Like, oh my gosh, this is insane. India. I met with her. She became my first international client. I
Oh
signed her as a
my
client
God.
yeah. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm taking this program because it was that expansion for me to know that there's going to be more for me and that my business is not just meant to be local. It's meant to be worldwide, international. I'm going to help people from all over the world. And so that's pretty massive.
So were you doing like manifestation coaching at that time?
Yeah, I was doing manifestation coaching. And I was working with anyone and everyone that would want a coach. And I started for free, like coaching for free, dabbling, seeing if I was any good at this coaching thing. And that's kind of where my journey began of realizing that I had no clue what I was fucking doing. And I had really good intentions, but I had no skill set or process or anything to actually help people transform.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling them what to do. I was, giving them advice and we can get into all
Oh my
that stuff.
gosh.
Yeah.
Let's just like, there's so many directions we can take this in, but
Yeah.
like, primarily, why your entire business nowadays is based on certifying coaches to be the best masterful coaches, like the people who are the experts of their craft. And like, you don't take this shit lightly. You are all in and you are certifying people who are all in. And I admire that so much about you because I remember sitting on a QCA call, which for anyone who doesn't know, QCA stands for Quantum Coaching Academy, right? Quantum Coach or Quantum Coaching?
Quantum Coaching Academy.
Okay, Quantum
We,
Coaching Academy. I sat on a couple classes and I was like, and obviously I've already known you for years, right? And I remember you when you were Manifest with Ash. That was your first
yeah,
Instagram handle that I remember. And obviously we've had some fun times and girls trips galore. And I finally was like, Ashley, I really want to learn from you and I really want to dive into Quantum Coaching Academy because I hear the best things and I know we have so much audience crossover. There's so many people who are like Quantum Coaching Academy. And I was just so blown away by how much you care, how much integrity you come to the space with, how much your team cares, how much integrity they come with, and just you really know your shit. Where did this passion for coaching come from? Like, what took you from teaching vision board
yeah,
classes at your yoga studio to being like, nah, this is what I want to do. I want to do Quantum Coaching Academy.
I love that so much. And I remember being on the call that you were on, and you're texting me, you're like, holy shit, this is amazing. I'm like, I love you. So it was definitely a journey. And it started with, I have a background in yoga. So through my yoga training, I remember being in awe of watching the facilitator and leader, which was my first taste of personal development, watching them coach the people in our training and watching them go from feeling like not good enough, feeling unworthy of standing in front of a room, helping other people, to transforming before my eyes, being so empowered and in their purpose. And like that showed up in their teaching and the way that they were helping people on the yoga mat. So I was very, very inspired, always inspired by the art of the transformation in and of itself. And then after getting into the industry and taking so many different certification programs and being in the industry for quite some time, I noticed that there was a huge gap. There was a huge gap in all of the certification programs that I took. And there was a huge gap in the coaching industry itself. So I remember actually being at Jen Casey's mastermind event, our friend Jen, and there were 7 coaches in the room. And she was like, I want you to speak. What do you want to talk about? And I said, everyone in the online space is talking about how to market their business. Everyone's talking about sales and marketing and really getting the clients. But nobody's talking about the craft of transformation. Nobody's talking about the transformation itself. And it like pissed me off
This
because,
is so true. I just want to quickly speak from experience that I have
yeah,
taken a coaching certification, one of like 7 billion
yeah,
that I'm obsessed with taking. And you know me, like I'm also a modality junkie. And there was one in particular that the actual coaching was maybe like a couple of slides out of the entire 7 or 8 slide decks. Like it was like I think 7 or 8 weeks, and just in one week was the actual like skill set, and it's just one skill set that I know today, just like the art of reframing. And the rest was just like how to run a business, how do you
yeah,
market, how do you build a sales page. And so before then I was really teaching from like the advice place and really teaching from like, oh, I had experience with this area of life, so I know how to help people.
yep.
And it wasn't until like what you're talking about where I also noticed this gap where I'm like, wait, this client is coming to me with like she's going through a divorce.
Mm.
I've never been married. I'm still single. Like I was like 23 or 24 at the time, just had a boyfriend. Like, how am I supposed to help her? And I remember being completely frozen and just like, I don't know what to do. So
Such a good point. And that's what I'm afraid of for people, is like it's just like a lack of safety, a lack of
yeah.
knowing how to hold that space, and a lack of knowing where to take the session and how to really take someone through such like a profound traumatic slash whatever is situation. It's really important to know how to like handle that. So yeah, I was kind of angry at the industry for a little while, where I was noticing like, okay, everyone wants to sell you into their programs, but what happens when you join the program and that person can't deliver the transformation, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I really believe in the power of knowing your craft And if you're gonna be a coach, be a really amazing coach and lead people through such a powerful transformation that transformation speaks for itself and markets your whole entire business. I feel like a huge part of your success is the transformation that people get from your work. Like, obviously it's you and their whole life changes. That's because you're the master of your craft. That's because you have 7 billion certifications and your shit inside and out. You know what I mean? Like, you are so embodied in the work. So what got me from, just coaching to starting the certification was honestly just seeing this huge gap in the industry and wanting to make it my mission to fill it.
Do you believe that anyone can become a coach, Ashley?
Oh, do I believe anyone can become a coach if they have that calling? 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to have the calling.
Do you believe that you need to have some sort of enormous personal history, like you went through a whole traumatic thing? Or can you just be the kind of person who had the quintessential, like my husband's childhood, perfect childhood, right? He has the most amazing parents. His mom is a childhood development specialist. There is not one bit of childhood trauma that man has. Not to say he hasn't had struggles and like other things that, of course, came up when he went to college. I would say most of his trauma came from college, but someone, let's say that they didn't have any crazy traumatic event, they didn't have to overcome this crazy thing, they didn't go from poverty, homelessness to like millionaire overnight and now feel like they can help the world in accomplishing the same. Like, can the average person cause a transformation for other human beings without having that specific experience themselves?
Such a powerful question. And here's the answer. As a coach, we are meant to be the vessel. We are the vessel to act as the mirror to help the client see what needs to be released, rewired, received for them to create what they want to create. And that has absolutely nothing to do with what you've been through in your life. So the answer to your question is, what is it? Yes? No, they don't have to have gone through, they can have a perfect, quintessential, no trauma, not a traumatic childhood at all, and still create massive shift. Now that part of it is like more for marketing, right? More for telling your story to help people feel connected to you. But in order to facilitate transformation, nope.
I'll never forget, I was sitting at the dinner table, at my dad's house when I first started Manifestation Bay. It was the first year. And yes, it was the first year, and it was just before I had my quantum leap, right? I had my quantum leap moment New Year's Eve between 2016 and 2017, but this was Christmas Eve. And I had not made that much money. Like, I facilitated some transformations here and there, had a couple one-on-one clients, sold a couple courses, amounted to like $9,000 total. And, my family is still looking at me like, why is she stupid? Like, why is she not enrolling into medical school? Like, what is she doing? And I'll never forget them all talking about me with me sitting there and having, just me being part of the conversation. They're like, who's going to listen to a 23-year-old life coach, right? And I remember both believing in myself, but also like kind of internalizing that and being like, oh my God, what if they're right? Like, who am I to be listened to? I'm only 23 years old, right? I had this imposter syndrome. And I know that that's something that you also struggled with when you got started, of like, you were afraid of like close friends and family knowing that you were a coach or wanted to pursue like the coaching industry and things like that. Like, what advice do you have for someone who's just getting started, who is struggling with insane imposter syndrome of like, what are people going to think? Do I have what it takes? And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And I just want to honor that 23-year-old self that was sitting at that table listening to her family asking those questions. And thank God you didn't listen, right? And that's what I want you, like, that's like the first point I want to make is look at Kathrin as that example, right? Because we all have imposter syndrome. It just happens. I still have it. It still comes up, and it's like, who am I to want to be a coach? Who am I for you to hear the message that I have to share with the world? Why would anyone care what I have to say? All of that is so normal and it's so part of the process. And if you are feeling that way, I want you to do some coaching. This is a process we teach in QCA. It's really about honoring that deep inner critic. So that deep inner critic that's coming up for you, that's telling you you're an imposter. What if you said thank you to it? What if you said thank you for helping me like strengthen this part of myself that needs to be strengthened and built up to really make the impact that I came to this planet to make? And you're the perfect example of that, right? Imagine if Kathrin listened to that voice. Imagine if I listened to that voice. The millions of people that wouldn't be impacted, that's what I want you to sit with, is like, what would happen if you listened to the voice and you didn't do anything? And what would happen if you said, I got this. Thank you. I got this. Let's keep moving forward.
Oh, so good. So Ashley, how do you coach anyone on anything? Because this is something even I asked you, because I know I have my niche, I have manifestation, like I know everything
Right.
about manifestation, but we were talking over the summer at our mastermind
Yeah.
of like, I think you were, I honestly don't remember the exact conversation, but you were telling someone um who was talking to us about like how you help people, like, how you have the skill set to be able to coach anyone on anything. And I remember being like, Ashley, I want to learn from you. Like, I want to know exactly how you do it, exactly how you
Yeah.
teach it. And I'm sure a lot of people have that same question of like, what is the secret here?
Mm. Well, the secret is energy, right? Because if you can learn how to coach someone's energy, you can coach anyone on anything, because we're never coaching the problem.
Boom.
We're never coaching the challenge. We're not coaching on the divorce. We're not coaching on someone's finances. We're coaching them around their beliefs, their energy, their thoughts, their emotions around the subject. So if you are highly skilled at being able to work with the energy, work with the beliefs, work with the thoughts, work with the emotions, you can
Yeah.
coach anyone on anything. It's working in energy leadership.
Oh, this is so true because I often think about, manifestation coaching. I'm just reading the energy. Like I know everything
Yeah.
about energy and how to manipulate it and how to shift it, change it, work with it, what to tell the unconscious mind, like all of these parts. And I mean, that's been my secret over the years is like how I've been able to help people manifest variety of things, anything. Like
Yep.
one of my favorite
Exactly.
examples is like helping this one particular woman manifest a role in like a Netflix show. And like I have no experience in acting. I have no experience in doing that. I have no desire to do that. I don't want to be on a show in Netflix, but it's the energetics behind it that make it happen.
And you're not coaching her to be like, okay, I think you should reach out to this producer and
Yes.
fill out this application. And then after you do that, you're not telling someone what to do. You're not getting into the nitty gritty of their story and their circumstances. We're not getting like into those details. We're really helping them work. It's really about coaching the structure instead of the like fine details, right?
So
Because
good.
we're not we're not solving people's problems. They're solving their own problems. And I think that's a huge misconception for so many people when they go through your program, right, Kathrin? They're like, I just had such a powerful transformation through Manifestation Babe Academy. I want to do what Kathrin does, right? And they're like, okay, I can use all these skills that I just learned in this program, and now I'm a coach. But they actually don't know how to cause transformation because they're only basing it on their own transformation. And
Okay,
that's a different
huge.
subject actually. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that subject. Can you dive more deeper into that subject? That's really good because I know that you said those are the prime people that come into QCA is like I've gone through Kathrin's program. I've had this personal transformation. And obviously, I don't teach people how to use these tools on other people. I only teach them
Right.
how to use them on themselves. And then you come here to fill the gap for those people who are like, holy shit, I want to change other people's lives. And so you give them the skill sets to do so, and how that's where the crossover between Manifestation
Yes.
Babe and Quantum Coaching Academy has beautifully synergized is because like it becomes like this beautiful pathway,
Journey.
right?
Totally. 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 And I was guilty of that in the beginning where, I went through my yoga training and I'm like, I just went through a personal, profound shift. And now I want to share it with people. But when I started coaching people, I would get stuck because I didn't know how to get them from where they are to where they want to be. I could only help them identify where they were really stuck without knowing how to shift them through that at the subconscious level or at the identity level. It was more like behavioral work, right? Like
Yes.
shifting at the
Surface
behavior level.
level. Yeah.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. And I
And
felt
then
like I was doing them a disservice.
you're so right, because shifting something at the behavior level like can cause temporary change, but ultimately if your identity is still like not in alignment with the behaviors that you want to actually
Yeah,
embody, then of course, like the subconscious is always going to overpower everything else. So you're so right about that. That brings me to the differences, and I know you love to talk about this, which is like the differences between like a coach or a teacher or an advisor or mentorship consultant, like or
yeah,
mentor consultant. Like, can you kind of break down the differences so people understand, like, maybe from this podcast they're realizing, oh, I don't want to coach anymore because
yeah.
I want to be a teacher. I want to be a mentor. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like fitting yourself into like, oh, okay, this is who I am and these are the skill sets that I need to be able to do that.
Totally. And I think that people get really stuck on like the word coach or the word mentor or the word healer. And they're really all the same in a way, but there are some differences in, coaching is helping people have a discovery within themselves. You are helping them shift at the identity level. You are recognizing that your clients are the expert at their life and you're the expert at your craft of helping them really dive deep within themselves to find their own answers. Okay. Coaching's mainly about finding their own answers because the subconscious mind, it stores everything. It has everything that you could possibly need. Your intuition has everything you need. And sometimes you just need a coach to help bring that out of you.
Yeah,
Right.
this is why I hire coaches. For anyone listening, like people are always like, Kathrin, you hire so many coaches. Yeah, because I don't want to waste time. Like if I have a what do you call it, blind spot,
Yeah.
I know I have tons of blind spots. Like even me knowing what to do, I don't see my own limiting belief. I'm like, I know there's a block. I know there's a limiting belief. I know there's something that is holding me back. I know there's a fear. I know there's like I call it like a feared loss, hidden benefit, or secret desire. I know there's something in here that isn't coming up to the surface for me to be able to work through myself, even though I have all these freaking skill sets. And so I hire coaches because it's not like they're telling me what to do. They're just helping me. Like literally last week, I had a session with my coach, and all I asked was like, I'm going to talk and I want you to help me identify. Like, I feel heaviness around this thing that I want to do, that
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited about the end result, but the process has been so heavy. Like, I'm just going to talk it out with you, hear me ramble, and then just point out to me like where you're sensing the energy of heaviness. And that way I can see it and be like, oh, this is what I actually want to do, or this is how I want to shift it, or this is, and this person does not need to like have direct experience with the exact thing that I'm trying to accomplish. It's just a matter of helping me identify like where is the blockage so that I can change that piece and then create alignment in the whole process.
Boom. That's so good. And that's exactly what I was saying earlier about the coach is the mirror, right? It's mirroring back to you exactly what you needed to see based on the information that you're giving, not what the coach is giving you. Not saying, "Oh, you feel heavy around this. Let me tell you exactly what to do." Mentorship, or I would say consulting, where a consultant says, I've been here before. I've done this thing that you want to do. And this is exactly what I did for success. And this is exactly what you should do for success.
So it's like giving them the roadmap.
Yeah. They're giving you the roadmap and they're telling you what to do instead of asking you, how does this strategy feel in your body? How does this strategy work with your alignment, with your design, right? And it's really important to understand that there is a place for consulting and coaching in the same, house, but it's a different thing. It's totally different. And then I think a lot of people that want to come into the coaching space, again, going through a program like yours, being like, oh my gosh, I want to create a program too. And they want to create a program and they're teaching, right? They want to teach. And there's a difference between teaching and coaching. and there's a different approach, and there's also like a different investment, I think, for teaching and coaching, where if you're not making it experiential, like you bring people through so many deep processes, and they're having an experience through their process, as opposed to if someone's just teaching, they're just telling people what to do, telling them what they think. And that's also a huge difference that people don't realize when it comes to coaching.
Oh, so good. Um, are there different skill sets that you need to be like, there's group coaching programs are very popular. And I
Yeah.
know that in QCA, you offer a certification in group coaching, which I've never seen anywhere, by the way. Just so you know,
Yeah.
I've never seen a certification. I just personally applied what I do with my one-on-one clients to a group, but I'm curious, like, are there specific differences? Like what made you want to add that as a certification, which by the way, for those of you who don't know, I think there's 8 certifications inside of QCA. So that's like
Yes.
one of them. What made you what are the differences and what made you want to include that?
Such a good question. I wished again that I was able to learn that along my journey. So I was like, okay, this is a huge gap where I know almost every single coach, they see the potential that you can create, financially through coaching, and it comes through group coaching a lot of times. And so I knew that that was something that I wanted to have in the program, because not only can you know, quadruple your impact, but you can quadruple your income as well. So there's so much potential that can be created. And the ripple effect of group coaching is just like so freaking potent and powerful. And I'm also very passionate just about teaching people how to hold space in a group setting, how to navigate a large group. How do you navigate, different personalities in a group? How do you navigate when someone has an emotional reaction in a group, or when someone's being disruptive, or all those elements that you just don't know will come up in those situations? It's really important to know how to hold that safe space, because I mean, anything can happen. So yeah, it was really important for me to have that as part of our program.
Ashley, what do you see? I'm super curious. Like, what do you see in the coaching industry currently? Like, you've talked about the gap of people just
Mhm.
not honing in on their craft. They're focusing more on like actually growing their business. Is there anything else? Maybe that's the only thing that drives you bonkers, but maybe there's something else where if you could single-handedly go and bridge the gap, or you can single-handedly like change it or just remove this trend. Like maybe it's a trend that you're seeing. It doesn't have to be like this big thing, but just something that drives you absolutely bonkers. Like, what is it?
It's the lack of trust that's happening when people want to invest in a program. I think that when people are looking at all of their options, they have been, and maybe they've gone through other programs and they've been burned, right? Whether it's if they join a mastermind, or they've gone through another certification, like you had talked about earlier, where it wasn't really what you expected, and there was like one process that you learned. It's really that trust, I feel like, that needs to be rebuilt in the industry, that I really want to fill with how much we care and the intention we put in, and the real, true, deep, transformative work that's happening inside of the Quantum Coaching Academy. Like, people leave our program and they're like, they go on to other things, and they come back to me and they're like, Ashley, I've never experienced anything like your program in the industry at the level in which you're providing this transformation at a certification high level. So
I love that. I love that you're mentioning this because obviously this is coming from, and this is just my assumption, that you've been burned in the past.
for
You've
sure.
signed up for things that made zero sense, just were done totally out of integrity. And I know this because the way that I run my programs and just the way that I genuinely want to help people, and I create as many transformations as I possibly can. And I'm more so, in the course space now. So I'm not working, which by the way, talking to you and really like going through this mastermind together that we're in, I'm like, I really miss clients. Like maybe I should take on a couple clients in
Right?
2024. Like I really miss it. So anyone who's listening, if you have any interest, just send an email to hello@manifestation babe, and I'll think up a coaching package, because I really do miss it. Like I really do miss that connection. And Anyway, that's a freaking tangent. But going back to like obviously you've been burned because I've been burned where I'm like, okay, you know what? I can be pissed about this, which I know a lot of people get pissed and then they focus all their energy on being pissed, right? They're just like,
Yeah.
screw this, cancel coaches, Reddit
Hmm.
threads, blah, blah, blah. And like, that's just not the path I go down. The path that I go down is like, thank you so much for teaching me how to not do things. Like, thank you so much for teaching me
100%.
how to do the opposite of what you did. And, that's not okay, but I'm going to give people the complete opposite experience. And I'm just curious, like, have you, what were some of your experiences? Like, what are some of the things that just completely shocked you? Like, do you have any stories around that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I never understood the value of lifetime access to a program until I was falling behind on a program and then was just kicked out because like my access ran out, which I had no idea it was going to run out. And I'm like, wait, I didn't finish the content. And they're like, oh, sorry. They didn't give two shits about my experience at all. So that was one thing that really helped me understand the value of having lifetime access to a program and all of its updates. And I know that you do this as well. It's like, it's it's so invaluable. Like you can't, there's no number that you could put on it. It's unbelievable. And it also helped me understand how to create a really powerful client experience from start to finish. Client experience is everything to us. White glove experience is everything to us. So that was one big thing that like shocked me. And then also just being marketed to and feeling like so connected to someone through their marketing and then getting inside their program and feeling so incredibly disappointed in my experience and in the content and in the level of coaching. It's sometimes hard for me to invest in other coaches because I'm, I'm very aware of coaching and I know like levels of coaching and I know what's a good coach and what's not. And so it's challenging sometimes because I'm used and accustomed to a certain level of coaching.
Yeah, I have exact same thing. Like, if you need any recommendations, text me anytime. Like, I got some good ones. So,
That's good.
you help people tap into big coach energy, which I'm
Yeah,
obsessed
baby.
with. I love that phrase. Where did that phrase come from? What does that mean? What does it mean to be big coach energy? How do you help people
Mm.
tap into big coach energy?
Yes, big coach energy is it's it's the energetic embodiment of being a badass world-class coach and leader that naturally magnetizes success to you. It's
Mhm.
because you are so confident in your power as a coach. You can get on any discovery call or tell someone to their face, like, I know I can help you transform your life with complete confidence and conviction. And they're like, okay, I want to work with you. That's big coach energy right there.
I love
Um,
it.
my team member Jenna came up with that and I was like, okay, I love you, we need to trademark that as soon as possible, and we did.
That's so smart. Thank God. Would you
Yes.
say that the confidence that you have in your coaching and the confidence that your coaches have in their coaching comes from your certification and like mastering the craft? Is it coming from practice or is it coming from just like, I know my shit. I know what causes transformation. I know these modalities. I can use them. I've practiced them. Like I've completed Jesus, QCA in all of its entirety, which is a long program. It's a fucking beast of a program, right?
Yeah,
Where do you find that confidence in coaching comes from?
I would say it comes from everything that you just said. We really give you such deep practice in the program. You are a coach in the program, you have a coach in the program. You're learning the skills and tools, you're practicing them on each other for the entire program. And as you're going through all these processes, you're also having them done on you. So I think everything that you just said, plus doing your own inner work, having your own personal transformation, it's a parallel experience, right? So you're learning it and you're having it practiced and done on you. And you're gaining this deep belief in the tools because you're transforming through this process. And it's undeniable. Like people come in and they're like, I'm not the same person. I don't even recognize the person that I was when I walked in the door.
God, I love that. I have my
Yeah.
students film themselves when they're coming into
Mm,
MBA. MBA is my longest, my beast program. I've really invested this year in like creating other offers and things to just really pad up the what do we call it?
The product suite, baby.
Product suite. There we go. Thank you. I, everyone else knows more marketing language than I do. I'm like, what do I call this? What am I doing? Um, but in MBA, I have my students, they film themselves as they're
So
coming into the
smart.
program and film themselves after. And it's part of this like transformation giveaway that we do. So people vote on like the best MBA transformation. They get like this before it was a VIP day with me, just like having fun with me in person. And once COVID hit, we turned it into like this big goodie bag worth like thousands of dollars of all my crazy, weird, like wellness products and things that I'm into, just like a
My
Kathrin's
God,
favorite
I
goodie
love
bag.
that.
And I like, first of all, I love watching those videos, but second of all, I love it when people tell me, like, who is that, Kathrin? I would have never, like, sometimes we're so close to our transformation. Like, yeah, we feel ourselves transforming, but we don't realize how far we've come until we
Mm,
like scroll back on our phone and we see old
yeah.
pictures of ourselves, or someone brings up a story or a memory, or just like you remember something, like something usually triggers it. But having that video evidence, it's like when people tell me, I don't know who this person is, it just shows you like how potent and powerful energy is. Because it's not
So
like
true.
they grew 3 inches taller, dyed their hair, chopped their hair. Like, yeah, maybe they did some of that, but it's in their energy, it's in their composure, it's in their confidence levels, it's in their like how big their smile is. It shows everything, and I'm obsessed with that.
It's so true because energy, as you know, and I tell this to my students too, when they're working with their clients, it can't be created or destroyed, but it can be reprogrammed and repurposed. And so they're repurposing their energy to work for them instead of against them, holding them back.
So good.
That's
Like,
quantum coaching.
if there was one thing to hear in this podcast episode, what you just said, so powerful.
Hmm.
Ashley, I know that the day that this podcast episode goes live, you have a masterclass. It's a free
Yes.
masterclass, right?
It's
That
a
just
free
went live. Can you talk a little bit about that? And then for those people who are like, yeah, I'm going to come to the masterclass, but also screw it. Like, I want to get into QCA. Can you just kind of walk us through the process,
Yeah, for sure.
the options to get in? And then, and I'll remind you if this is too long of a question, part two of the question is like, what are they going to get inside of
Yeah.
QCA?
Okay. So glad you asked. Okay, cool. So Dream Coach Masterclass, if you're like wanting to learn more and really see what we're all about, what quantum coaching is all about, and learn how to coach in the quantum field, come to Dream Coach Masterclass. It's really about bringing your dream, that nudge that you have. Like, I think I'm supposed to be a coach. I think this is my path. And maybe you're listening and you're being so lit up right now. You're like, this class is going to help you go from like vision board to reality as far as like becoming the dream coach and making the impact that you came here to make. And you're going to learn real skills, real processes. I go deep with you. It should be paid kind of masterclass.
Hell
Totally
yeah.
join us for that. Specifically, you're going to learn 3 secrets: what it really takes to create a 6 and 7 figure coaching business, the 5 mistakes you might be making in your coaching that'll like transform you, even if you aren't ready for QCA yet. And then lastly, how to coach anyone on anything in more depth. So join us for that. And then Quantum Coaching Academy. If you want to apply, it's great because every single person that applies has to book a call with myself or my team. Yes, I take these calls alongside of 2 other team members. There's only 3 of us that take the calls. We truly want to know who our students are going to be, our potential students are going to be. We meet with you, no pressure whatsoever, to just help you make the most powerful decision for yourself, to learn more about the program and get all of your questions personally answered. It's something that is really important to us. So you apply and you book your application call. And on that call, we will accept you or not to the program. And once you are accepted, you will then gain access to the portal. And we have our live calls starting twice a year, January or July. So January cohort is opening up. Right now, we start on 1/1/1. So you get access to the portal. You start diving into all the pre-work. And then once our live calls start, we meet for 2 hours a week, every single week. We teach, we demo, you practice. You're getting hands-on learning. You're learning and you're experiencing every single call. There's so much that I could go over right now. Should I keep going?
Just share a little bit more, just teeny
Okay.
bit more.
Okay. Like Kathrin had said, there's 8 certifications in the program. We certify in neuro-linguistic programming, time techniques, really diving deep into somatic practices. You're going to get certified in quantum life coaching, as well as group coaching, group facilitation.
There's
And
Reiki, right?
yeah, there's energy healing as well. So we really teach you how to blend all these modalities together and decompartmentalize yourself, right? A lot of people are certified in certain things and they're like, I have to just do this or do that. And we really teach you how to blend all of these modalities in a really beautiful way. And you have mentor coaching. You're going to get direct feedback on your coaching. So we have a mentor that is certified with the International Coach Federation. We're also accredited with the International Coach Federation. So we follow the highest standard in the coaching industry, and we give you feedback on your coaching throughout the entire program. So you're going to like really know how to improve your skill set and get that real life feedback. It's so amazing.
So good.
There's so much more, but yeah.
As the queen of blending modalities, I love that you do that, because I feel like
Yeah.
so many certifications I walk into and they're like, you cannot blend, you cannot muddy this up, and I'm just like, no. like the other day I was working through a limiting belief that came up, and for whatever reason I just started channeling the very specific things from various modalities to come together, and I worked
Wow.
through this limiting belief, and I basically recreated what I call my limiting belief blaster, but it came from the blending. Like if it was just so compartmentalized, like I feel like my brain would explode. So I love that you teach that, because I feel like I'm the freaking queen at that, and
Yes.
that's where my expertise comes from. Um, Ashley, okay, so I'm going to drop the links to anyone who's listening. I'm going to drop the links. If you missed the intro, I know I dropped them in the intro. You probably heard a podcast ad by now, but also I'll drop them in the show notes so you can just click super easily to get inside the masterclass and or directly to book a call so that you can get inside of QCA. One last question for you, Ashley. What are you currently manifesting? Since this is the Manifestation Babe podcast, okay, what are you currently manifesting into your life?
Oh my goodness.
Get it
I
out there.
I am currently manifesting 100+ students into the Quantum Coaching Academy.
Done.
Done.
I am the
And
universe and I grant you 100
thank you.
students.
Yes. To just create this massive ripple that we're all creating together, because we all want to change the world. It can't be done alone. Kathrin can't do it alone. I can't do it alone. We have to do it together. And that's what this is all about. And I'm manifesting my son taking his first steps before I go on vacation.
Wait, when are you going on vacation?
November 10th.
Where are you going?
We're going to Turks and Caicos.
Stop.
You should come.
You did not tell me until now. Like, how dare you? I'm so excited for you guys. Oh my
Thank you.
gosh.
Our first solo parent vacation.
Oh my God. It's going to be so good. You guys are going to sleep
A
so
week.
well.
A week.
Oh
I
my
know.
gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited for you. And to anyone who's listening, like, I cannot think of a better facilitator, a better teacher, a better certifier than Ashley. Like if you're someone who's deciding like you really want to become a coach, or you already are a coach and you want to become a better coach, or you
Yeah.
already have a lot of coaching experience and you really want to learn these specific modalities that Ashley teaches, as well as her own methodology that she infuses into QCA, which I'm currently watching a video on from Ashley herself. Like, go with Ashley. I'm telling you, I don't affiliate for just anybody. I don't put my stamp on approval for anybody. Like, people could pay me millions of dollars, and if I don't believe in them, I will not say a fucking word. And I have nothing but the best things to say about Ashley. So, with that being said, Ashley, thank you so much for being here
Yeah.
on the Manifestation Babe podcast. Thank you for being taking my podcast virginity of having, or retaking the virginity of having a guest on the podcast after a very long time of not having any guests. I enjoy this episode so much, and I am manifesting this incredible launch with you.
Thank you. So excited.
And yeah, it's going to be so amazing. And to anyone else who is listening, definitely get the links in the show notes. They are there for you, super easy to click, and I can't wait to hear your experience from inside of Q&A, QCA.
We have a
Once
Q&A too.
Yeah, tons of Q&As inside of QCA. All right, with that being said, I will catch you in the next episode. Mwah. Bye.
Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at ManifestWithAsh. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here, we be about it. Now go get 'em.